The stars stretched across the sky like silver threads, and Josh Carter stood on the bridge of the small exploration ship, watching the distant lights of a new system. He felt a chill in his chest, but he did not speak about it. Something about this region of space felt different. The sensors had picked up unusual energy readings that did not match anything humans had seen before. The Galactic Council had dismissed his reports many times. They said humans were not ready to deal with real threats, and that Josh and his crew were imagining dangers. He had learned to ignore their doubts and focus on the mission. In the command room, the crew moved quietly. Anna Riley checked the navigation charts while Liam Foster ran diagnostics on the engines. The ship was small but fast and well-equipped. Josh looked at the star maps again, and he felt the weight of responsibility. If he was right about the energy signals, then a new force was coming closer to human colonies. He could not let anyone be unprepared. Back on Earth, Queen Alina Hart watched the reports from Josh's ship. Her eyes were sharp, and her voice steady when she spoke to her advisors. They were worried about disturbing the council, but Alina did not hesitate. She had seen enough wars in the galaxy to know that ignoring signs could bring disaster. She ordered secret programs to develop weapons and defenses faster than the council could control. Humans were clever, and they could build tools and weapons that other species underestimated. She trusted her people, and she trusted Josh. On the ship, Josh called a meeting of his senior officers. Anna Riley and Liam Foster joined him in the small briefing room. Josh explained the patterns of the signals and the possibility of a hostile fleet approaching human territory. Anna listened carefully and nodded. She'd worked with Josh for many years, and she trusted his instincts. Liam frowned and tapped the table with his fingers. He worried about the consequences if the council ignored the warnings, but he also knew there was little they could do officially. That night, Josh walked on the observation deck. The stars seemed calm and peaceful, yet he knew the danger was real. He thought about the colonies that were far away and unprotected. He imagined families and children unaware of the coming threat. He clenched his fists and promised silently that humans would survive no matter the cost. He believed in their strength and in the courage of people like Queen Alina, who prepared even when others did not believe. The next morning, the crew began training for situations they might face. They ran drills on handling emergency situations and operating the ship at maximum capacity. Josh watched and gave instructions. Every movement was precise and every decision mattered. Anna practiced coordinating the defense systems, while Liam ran simulations on attack strategies. They were humans, and humans learned quickly. They adapted and found solutions that surprised other species in the past. Josh smiled slightly. Their determination gave him hope. Meanwhile, on Earth, Queen Alina visited a research facility where engineers and scientists worked tirelessly. They were building railguns and energy shields faster than anyone thought possible. The Queen encouraged them to keep pushing boundaries and to think creatively. She walked among the machines and watched humans test each new design. Sparks flew and machines hummed, but nothing could stop their focus. Alina knew that if humans were ready, they could face any enemy in the galaxy. Days passed, and the energy signals grew stronger. Josh's crew detected movements in the distant systems that confirmed his fears. He reported to the council, but the response was the same as before. The council dismissed him and told him not to alarm the colonies. Josh refused to be discouraged. He knew humans had something no other species fully understood. They had courage and cleverness that could turn the tide of any battle. He prepared his crew for whatever was coming, checked weapons, communications, and shields. Every detail mattered, and every human counted. At night, Queen Alina addressed her closest advisors. She spoke of the coming storm and the need to prepare in secret. The council might not support them, but humans would not wait for permission. She believed that strength, intelligence, and unity would protect the people. Her voice carried a quiet power, and the advisors left with determination in their hearts. Humans had survived before, and they would survive again. The Queen's vision was clear, and she knew that one day all would see that humans were not to be underestimated. Josh and his crew continued to watch the skies. The stars seemed endless and beautiful, but hidden among them was a danger that no one fully understood. Yet humans were ready in ways no one expected. The ship hummed quietly, and the crew moved with purpose. They were human, and humans never gave up. Each step, Each calculation and each action was a step toward survival. The coming days would test them like never before. But Josh believed that humans would stand and fight. They would prove that courage and intelligence could face any challenge. The galaxy would soon learn that humans were not to be ignored. The first signs of attack came suddenly. Josh Carter and his crew were on the bridge when alarms blared across the ship. They saw small human ships falling in the distance. The enemy fleet had arrived faster than anyone expected. Josh stood firm and gave orders to maneuver the ship into position. Anna Riley adjusted the sensors while Liam Foster prepared the railgun systems. They had trained for this moment, and they would not fail. The enemy struck a remote colony near the edge of the human sector. Families were caught by surprise, but local defenders fought back with everything they had. Josh coordinated from his ship. He watched the battle unfold and made quick decisions. Each movement mattered. He directed the defense teams to protect key areas and evacuated civilians to safe zones. The colony defenders were human men and women who refused to surrender. They fought with courage that inspired Josh and his crew on Earth. Queen Elena Hart received the news of the attack. She did not panic. She gathered her advisors and military leaders. She spoke calmly and clearly. Humans had survived worse situations. They would not bow to fear. She ordered additional defenses to be deployed across vulnerable colonies. Engineers worked day and night installing new railgun platforms and energy shields. The Queen moved from room to room encouraging the people. She reminded them that humans were clever and could overcome any challenge. Josh and his crew launched a counterattack. They targeted supply lines and enemy positions with precision. Hannah guided the ship through asteroid fields using new maneuvers. Liam fired railguns from orbit, hitting enemy ships before they could reach the colonies. The enemy did not expect humans to fight so intelligently. They were strong and fast, but they underestimated the courage of people who refused to give up. In the midst of battle, Josh led a daring strike team. He boarded a small attack vessel and moved close to the enemy command ship. He saw the human soldiers aboard fighting bravely. He joined them, directing their movements and helping repair systems that were damaged. Quickly, the team moved as one. They were humans, and humans adapted to challenges faster than anyone anticipated. Back on Earth, Queen Elena prepared to visit a frontline colony. She wanted to see the people and inspire them. She arrived with engineers and military leaders. They helped repair defenses and coordinate strategies. The Queen met children and families. She reassured them humans were not helpless, humans would survive, and humans would protect their homes. She left with a renewed determination to strengthen human defenses and expand the railgun network across colonies. The enemy made a mistake. They assumed humans would retreat. They did not understand human intelligence or courage. Josh and his crew exploited every weakness. They trapped enemy ships in asteroid fields and used railguns to disable key vessels. The enemy suffered losses and began to fear human tactics. Anna monitored every movement from the bridge and gave reports. Josh adjusted strategies based on her readings. Every decision pushed humans closer to victory. Meanwhile, engineers on Earth developed new defense drones and energy shields. They were small but effective. These tools allowed colonies to resist attacks that would have been impossible. Before, humans were creative and persistent. They used every resource available and improved technology faster than anyone could predict. Queen Elena encouraged collaboration between scientists and military leaders. She reminded them humans never waited for permission. They acted with purpose and courage during the battle. Josh witnessed human courage firsthand. A small group of defenders held a key station despite heavy enemy fire. They refused to abandon their post. Even when surrounded, they found ways to fight back. They inspired others to push harder and stay strong. Josh realized that humans did not need the largest fleet or the most weapons. Humans had determination and cleverness. They used it to survive against the odds. By the end of the day, humans had slowed the enemy advance. The colonies were damaged but not destroyed. Josh and his crew regrouped. They prepared for the next wave of attacks and refined strategies based on what they learned. Anna and Liam worked tirelessly adjusting weapons and defense systems. Queen Elena coordinated from Earth. She ensured every colony received support and guidance. She knew humans could win if they remained united and smart. That night, Josh stood on the observation deck. He watched distant explosions fading among the stars. He thought about the families and the brave defenders. He knew humans would face more challenges. But he also knew they had something no enemy could take away: courage, intelligence, and unity. Humans adapted and survived, and humans would continue to do so. The enemy had begun to understand that humans were not weak, and humans would never surrender. The enemy regrouped and launched another attack. Humans were ready. This time Josh Carter and his crew had studied every movement and weakness of the attackers. Anna Riley tracked every ship on the screens. Liam Foster prepared the railguns and shields. Humans had trained for months, and they moved with precision and focus. They would not let the colonies fall again. Josh ordered the fleet to spread out and block key positions. The enemy was surprised by the speed and coordination of human ships. They tried to break through, but humans anticipated every move. Josh guided small strike teams to attack the enemy's supply lines and reinforcements. He knew that weakening the enemy early would give humans a stronger advantage on the battlefield. On Earth, Queen Alina Hart visited a colony that had been rebuilt. She walked among the defenders, encouraging them. Humans were tired, but they were not broken. The Queen spoke to the engineers and strategists. She reminded them that humans could adapt faster than anyone expected, and that intelligence and courage would win the day. She gave new orders for the construction of railgun platforms and defensive satellites. The humans worked tirelessly, and their determination grew stronger during the battle. Lieutenant Anna Riley discovered a critical flaw in the enemy formation. She reported it to Josh, and they quickly adjusted their attack. Humans used their speed and cleverness to exploit the gap. The enemy ships were caught off guard and suffered heavy losses. Josh led a small group of ships to strike at the enemy command fleet. They moved with precision and coordination and inflicted damage beyond what anyone thought possible. In the midst of the fight, Liam Foster repaired weapons and shields under heavy pressure. He worked with his team to make sure every system functioned at maximum capacity. Humans were not perfect, but they learned quickly and adapted faster than the enemy anticipated. The enemy did not understand that humans used every challenge to become stronger and smarter. They had courage and cleverness that no one could easily predict. Queen Alina coordinated with other colonies. She sent new supplies and reinforcements where they were needed. Most humans were learning from each encounter. They improved their strategies and technology with every battle. The Queen encouraged the colonies to work together and share knowledge. Humans did not wait for orders from the Council. They acted with purpose and unity to protect their people and their homes. Josh observed the enemy retreating from several key positions. He realized that the tide was turning. Humans had proven that they could fight with skill and intelligence. Anna Riley adjusted sensors and weapons systems to track any remaining enemy movements. They prepared for the next attack. Humans did not become complacent. They knew the enemy would return stronger and faster, but humans were ready to meet them with determination and courage. The human fleet continued to strike at enemy positions in unison. They blocked reinforcements and destroyed key supply stations. Humans used railguns and coordinated maneuvers to their advantage. The enemy began to fear human tactics. They had underestimated humans and were paying the price. Josh smiled as he saw the results of months of preparation and training. Humans had adapted and were now stronger than the enemy expected. Meanwhile, Queen Alina worked with engineers to improve railgun systems. They tested new designs and deployed them on multiple colonies. The humans were learning from each encounter. They modified their ships and defenses to counter every enemy strategy. Humans were persistent and determined. They did not stop or give up. They used every tool and every piece of knowledge to protect their people. By the end of the day, humans had pushed the enemy back farther than anyone thought possible. Colonies that had been attacked were now safe, and reinforced. Josh and his crew regrouped on the ship. They shared reports with Queen Alina and discussed new strategies for the coming battles. Anna and Liam prepared systems for immediate action. Humans had proven that intelligence and courage could overcome larger forces. They had turned the tide and were ready for what came next. That night, Josh walked on the observation deck. He looked at the stars and thought about the courage of the people he led. Thought about Queen Alina and the engineers and defenders who had worked tirelessly. Humans had survived attacks that could have destroyed them. Humans had adapted and fought with cleverness and bravery. Josh knew that humans were not only surviving, they were learning and growing stronger. The enemy had learned that humans could not be underestimated. The enemy gathered all their forces and planned a massive attack. Humans were ready. Josh Carter and his fleet waited in formation across the key systems. The enemy believed they could crush human defenses with numbers and firepower. They did not know humans had prepared and adapted for this moment. Anna Riley monitored every signal while Liam Foster readied railguns and defense shields. The fleet moved with precision and calm determination. Josh ordered a strategic spread of human ships. They blocked enemy routes and covered the colonies. Humans used speed and clever maneuvers to confuse the enemy. The enemy launched their first wave, but humans anticipated every move. Each ship followed orders perfectly and struck at critical points. The enemy was frustrated and began losing ships faster than they expected on Earth. Queen Alina Hart coordinated reinforcements and new technologies. She sent engineers and soldiers to colonies that were in danger. She visited command centers and encouraged the people. Humans were exhausted, but they were not broken. The Queen reminded them that courage and intelligence were stronger than numbers. She inspired humans to fight harder and adapt faster. Humans built new railgun platforms and improved shields to protect key areas. Josh led a small group of strike ships toward the enemy command vessel. He moved through dangerous zones, dodging attacks while targeting enemy weak points. The crew followed his orders perfectly. Anna guided the attacks and Liam controlled weapon systems. Humans worked together with focus and skill. They were not reckless, but precise and determined. The enemy had not expected humans to fight with such coordination and intelligence. The battle raged across the skies of the colonies. Humans used railguns and advanced maneuvers to hit enemy supply lines and key ships. The enemy tried to regroup, but humans predicted their movements. Humans adapted quickly to every new attack. The enemy began to fear humans and hesitated. Humans did not stop. They pressed forward with strategy and courage. Each victory inspired humans across the galaxy. Queen Alina visited a forward colony. She saw the defenders repairing damages and training for the next wave. She spoke to engineers and soldiers, reminding them that humans were clever and adaptable. Humans were using every challenge to grow stronger. They tested new weapons and strategies and improved every system. She inspired everyone to stay united. Humans would fight together, and they would survive. Josh and his fleet targeted enemy supply convoys. They destroyed weapons and energy reserves. Humans weakened the enemy without risking all their ships. The enemy tried to attack human colonies directly, but railgun platforms held them off. The human fleet used tactics and intelligence to guide every strike. They trapped enemy ships and forced them into vulnerable positions. The enemy suffered losses and morale fell. During the battle, Liam Foster repaired critical systems under heavy fire. He and Anna kept the railguns ready and targeted the enemy command ships. Humans adapted to the chaos and used it to their advantage. Every strike was planned and executed with precision. The enemy had underestimated human courage and intelligence. They learned that humans fought not only with weapons, but with cleverness and unity. By the end of the day, humans had destroyed a large portion of the enemy fleet. Colonies were safe and reinforced. The enemy retreated to recover from their losses. Josh and his crew regrouped. They shared reports with Queen Alina and prepared for the next confrontation. Humans had proven that intelligence, strategy, and courage could overcome greater numbers. Humans had turned the tide of the war and showed the galaxy that they could not be underestimated. That night, Josh stood on the observation deck. He watched distant explosions fade into the stars. He thought about the courage of the human defenders and the determination of Queen Alina. Humans had faced overwhelming odds and survived. They had adapted and grown stronger. Each battle taught them new strategies and tactics. The enemy had learned that humans would fight with every resource and every skill. They had learned that humans would never surrender. The enemy retreated and human colonies began to breathe easier. Josh Carter and his fleet patrolled the borders, watching for any sign of return. The humans had won the decisive battle. They had proven that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome greater numbers. Anna Riley monitored the systems. Liam Foster prepared defenses, and Josh guided the fleet. Humans had fought with skill and determination, and they had survived. Queen Alina Hart addressed the people of Earth and the colonies. She spoke of courage and the power of unity. Humans had faced a threat that others thought they could not survive, and they had won. The Queen praised engineers, soldiers, and civilians for their strength. Humans had built weapons and strategies that no enemy could ignore. She reminded them that humans would continue to grow stronger and prepare for the future. On the colonies, humans worked to repair damages and rebuild what had been lost. They strengthened defenses and tested new railgun platforms. Every human knew that survival required preparation and intelligence. They learned from the battles and improved their technology and strategies. Communities worked together. Sharing knowledge and resources, humans did not wait for help from others. They acted with focus and determination to protect their homes. Josh and his crew were celebrated across the colonies. They had led humans through impossible battles and proven that skill and courage could change the outcome. Humans admired their leadership and followed their example. Anna Riley and Liam Foster continued to improve weapon systems and train new crews. Every action was focused on keeping humans safe and ready for any challenge. Humans were learning that every member of the team was important and that unity created strength. Queen Alina visited the forward fleets. She met the crews and engineers. She encouraged them to continue building and improving. She reminded them that humans had survived because they adapted faster than the enemy expected. They had learned from every encounter and grew stronger. Humans tested new designs and strategies. They prepared for threats that might come from any direction. Humans were determined to remain vigilant and never underestimate any danger. The human fleets patrolled distant systems. Humans were cautious but confident. They had proven that intelligence and courage could defeat any force. Josh directed exercises and training missions. The crews adapted to new technologies and tactics. They learned from every scenario and improved their skills. Humans had discovered that every challenge was an opportunity to become stronger. Anna Riley and Liam Foster worked tirelessly to ensure every system was ready and every human was prepared. Colonies that had been attacked were built with stronger defenses and new technologies. Humans had learned that unity and determination were their greatest weapons. They shared knowledge between colonies and improved every system. Humans did not rely on luck or hope. They acted with purpose and courage to protect their people and their homes. Queen Alina oversaw every project and encouraged humans to continue learning and improving. Josh reflected on the journey of humans. Humans had faced threats that seemed impossible. They had adapted and fought with intelligence and skill. They had survived and proven that no enemy could underestimate them. Humans had grown stronger and wiser from each battle. The galaxy had begun to recognize the courage and determination of humans, and humans were ready for the future. Queen Alina gathered the leaders of all colonies. She spoke of the importance of vigilance and preparation. Humans must continue to learn and improve. Their courage and unity would protect them from any enemy. Humans had shown that they could overcome challenges that others thought were impossible. She reminded them that every human had a role, and that every action contributed to survival. Humans had become a force that no one could ignore. Josh and his crew looked toward the stars. They knew new challenges would come. Humans would face them with courage, intelligence, and unity. They had proven that survival was possible even against greater numbers. Every battle had taught them new strategies and skills. Humans would continue to grow stronger and protect their people. The galaxy had learned that humans were not weak, and humans would never surrender.